for life. So fun to be with you guys again.
We say that every time.
Well, it's still fun though.
Is it so fun?
Yeah.
After
Why
all these
else
years-
would I show up?
Because
The crack of dawn.
Because you're into routine.
No.
That's why you have no control over your life. You just do what you're
Excuse
supposed to do.
I get more done than you, and I have 2 small kids. Remember that.
Fine. I feel bad enough as it is. I'm just. Oh well.
Now the topic of today is not shaming. Oh, we
Yes,
could
it is.
talk about that
We can talk about shaming.
next time. Shaming.
Yeah. The parental right to shame your children.
No, shaming, whatever reason for shaming.
Uh-huh.
But today's topic is about when you old.
Aha. Is that why you wanted me to
no,
show up
it's
today?
not when you're old. It's about changing careers midlife.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about like your 20s and you're like, oh, I try a bit of this and of that and whatever.
Aha.
It's more about like, okay, you got a job, you got a profession, you've done it for a couple of years, and suddenly you're like, and do something else.
Aha. You mean like when I stop being an actor so I can move to Sweden?
Were you an actor?
Sure. You can't find those films nowadays because
Oh my
they're
gosh.
collector's items. No.
Ew. Whatever that is.
No, it's not that kind of film.
Yeah, you said, oh, you can't find it now.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean it was like X-rated or anything like that. It was like, oosh. No. Sorry.
That escalated fast.
Exactly. We're always in the gutter. How do we get in the gutter so easily?
So, why do you think is that relevant for you, this topic?
I don't know, because I'm younger than you. And so I assume that you just, you think I know what people who are over 50 feel like. I don't know. Oh.
Well,
Yes. Well, probably because actually I've had a lot of jobs.
okay, tell me about it.
Well,
Like real jobs that you worked for.
I got paid for it.
Yeah, but like jobs you worked for maybe more than a year, not just like, a bit here and there.
I was a paper boy for more than a year.
A paper boy.
Yeah.
Like newspaper.
Yeah, like you throw the newspaper up on people's balconies and go to collect the money.
Wow.
And then there's all
Nowadays they must be out
Pimps
of,
and everything at the door. They don't want to pay you money.
out of work because paper and newspaper is not that a big deal anymore.
Okay, I guess not. Maybe not. I know. That's just showing how old I am. Because I remember like when people used to use... When I went to high school, you had to take classes in typing on a typewriter.
Well, yeah.
That's why I type with 2 hands instead of 2 fingers. Like, pick it. I can't do that. I have to use like all my fingers.
Well, I'm self-learned.
Well,
Safe thought.
That's the way it goes. No, okay. No, but let's see. I worked in a bank.
Oh, as a janitor?
Oh, because I'm black. Oh my
No.
gosh, that's so inappropriate. That's
No.
it. I'm never going to talk to you again. No, I actually worked as a bank teller,
Okay.
handling the money.
Really? Don't you need an education for that?
No. What?
Oh,
to count?
okay.
You just have to count. You got
But
10
don't they have
fingers.
machines for that?
I told you how old I am.
Okay,
People used to bring
sorry.
their sacks of gold. And like, all right, that's like, some dollars here. Let's print those up, No, but I went from working as a teller to working into account management. So people would come in and I was like, I'd like to start my account. I said, okay, well, what kind of account do you want? And then I would count the money when it came into the bank.
Wow.
So I'd sit in the room with like massive amounts of money running through the machine 3 times, make sure it was all counted, it was all there. I was like, these people really trust me. I wonder how far could I get?
You're a black man. You should be careful. You have a reputation to uphold.
Uphold?
A good one.
Why do that when I could be a gangster? No. And then, let's see, I worked as in an ice cream shop. It was called the Scooping Station. And they had these hot sandwiches you would make and ice cream. So that was a whole big combination.
Oh, wow.
And that was just a fun job. That's a perfect high school job. You're doing it because you want to talk to girls. And it was a good way to talk to girls. So they come in and you're funny and they come back. You're just like,
Oh, it reminds me what I worked with. That's good.
what did you work with?
Well, just finish
Okay.
your list
Okay.
and I'll
My
tell
list.
you.
And then I became I worked in a gas station. So in a full service gas station, when people would drive up and you're like, hi, sir, or hi, ma'am. You want me to fill that up for you? Let me check under the hood for you really quickly. I just checked your tire pressure and it's a little bit low. You want me to fill that up for you? So you have the accurate
wow.
And they come in and you'd have so you have a certain amount of time and you'd have to do the windows. And then if their wiper blades were like not in good shape, you're like, your wiper blades are getting low. We could change that for you right away while you're filling the gas up.
Oh, earning some cash.
Yeah. And then we would get like, so they would keep track of all your sales, and then you got like a little bonus based on your sales and everything.
Wow.
So.
But all of these jobs you've done until now, did you do them when you were still in school, or?
Yeah. So what I just named now, that's like high school in the first year of college, and then I did my apprenticeship and became a chef. So I was a chef, like an executive chef, for like 19 years.
Do you miss it?
Yeah, sometimes I miss the power, absolute
Boss
power.
people around.
I mean, think about it. You go to your work every day, and you walk in the kitchen. Everyone's like, "Okay, chef,
no,
what are we gonna do, chef?" And I'm like, today it's time for us to get ready. All right, chef. Are you guys ready? Yes, chef. Did you do your station? Yes, chef. Because if you didn't, I'm gonna fire you.
Oh my gosh, why don't you have this attitude when you come to church?
Sorry, if you didn't pray enough, I'm just gonna fire you.
They will fire upon you.
Fire! That's because since I moved to Sweden, I've tried to whittle that part of my life.
No, that's
away.
fun.
No, I can be really bossy and like really like. So I try not to be. I try to work really hard at not abusing my power or using my power.
You using my power, whatever.
And then
and now you are.
And now I'm working as a priest.
Well, you're still in a position of power, though.
Not really. It's a priest in Sweden.
Well, you have the power over divorce. You have the power over
divorce. What?
Well, you're counseling people. You can tell, you guys should get a divorce, definitely. Or about marriage, like I will not marry you guys because you guys would just get a divorce.
Nah, I work in the Church of Sweden. You can't really do that.
Oh wow!
Like you would have to say no. You'd have to have really good reasons. Like the guy comes in with a gun to the girl's head, or she comes in with a gun to his head. Says, "You better marry me." Then I can say, well, it's not really, by choice. And so therefore I can say no.
And then they put a gun on your head. You're like, okay.
And I'm like, hey, well, I can change that. But no, unfortunately. And so like in our community, somebody might be getting ready to get divorced and they might come and talk to me. Mm-hmm. That's because we're kind of conservative and we're a little small church and everybody knows everybody. So you can see when the stuff is happening because the guy comes in and, she's got the frying pan still stuck in his head. And, we have to pray to get that out and stuff like that. So,
I want to see that happening. Sorry, no, I don't. But the idea was to
see, because I was just going to start naming names. Like, what do you mean? Like, no, I'm just keeping your secrets. No. But in the Church of Sweden, so this is the largest Christian denomination in Sweden. It used to be the state church. People don't come to you when they're about to get divorced.
They just tell you, I'm divorced.
No, you see them like
on Facebook.
Like you married them like 10 years ago, and I was like, hey, so how's everything? Oh, we got a divorce 5 years ago. Oh, I'm sorry. I did now. You don't write to me, so no. And people don't come in like when they get married. They don't come in for spiritual counseling. So it's not like
or just marriage counseling.
It's not like Seventh Heaven,
so,
which was my favorite program.
But you counsel us, so that was a good thing.
I know you guys are still married. Obviously, you listen to stupid people. So no, but then I was like, so when I moved to Sweden, I was 34. And which means that in 2007, when I was ordained, what would that be?
13 to 14 years.
Yeah. So no, I mean, like I must have been like.
Oh, how old you were?
Yeah.
Like, well, dude, you got to do that math.
I must have been like, like 43.
Oh, you got ordained when you were 43.
Yeah. So I was
really old, man.
No, maybe that has to be older than that even. Because I was 40 when I started studying theology. So I was like 45.
Wow. You were the old dude in school.
So, yeah. It was really strange. I mean, it's been that way since I've come to Sweden. I've had to study more. And so I'm always like the old guy, like the grandpa in the room.
But you know, I started going to school again, so I feel like I'm the old...
You are the grandmother.
Yeah, I'm the old one. Because everyone is like, oh, I graduated last year, blah, blah. I'm like, well, I graduated like 7 years ago, but let's say
so what have you been doing all this time?
Well, popped out some kids.
What?
Did some working.
Respect. And they're cute. Yeah, so I think that changing careers...
Midlife.
When you're 40 is not midlife.
It is if you live until 80. Ooh, there you go. Well, 80 is not. It's not like the end.
It was different going back to school. Mm-hmm. So it's different when you go to school and you're like 18, 19, 20, because you're the same age as everyone else. You can have fun, and then you go to school and you're 40, and it just seems like it must look weird to people, like to the teachers, because you think like I'm.
Teacher might be as old as you.
Yeah, I was. I'm as old as the current rector. He was my first teacher. Shout out to James Storr. And so we're the same age, and think like he's the teacher, the professor at school, the seminary, and I'm hanging out with all these people who are like Gustav,
20 years younger than you.
Yeah, they're like,
or in this case, maybe
in their 20s or whatever,
younger.
and I'm like, and we're all hanging out.
Thanks God for online Zoom lectures nowadays. I don't have to hang out with anyone.
I know, really. So and that's kind of how. So that part of it, just like going back almost like to college, but with your wisdom of the years. Mm-hmm. So what they were
matured.
Yeah, it was so weird because they would like get all upset. Oh my gosh, this teacher just said this really big theory, and my faith is gonna die. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Why do you listen to them? That's a professor. They don't know anything. They're all on crack.
They're just people.
So and that became like, because I was so much older. So the professor mysticism, the mystique, wasn't there for me. Or people would come in with their life problems. I'm just like, so what? She dumped you. Why are you crying?
Life goes on.
I'm like, look at the school. There's all these other women here. Pick one of them. Make their life miserable.
Wow.
So that was like one of the differences. And then you start working, and you realize that. Like when I was a chef, I felt like I was at the beginning of my life, career. And I was a priest. I was already old. Like I was like 45.
But you were still young in your profession. You were like a kid in your profession.
Nah.
No, when you were a pastor.
Nah.
Like when you... No, what? What are you talking about?
Because most of the people I went to school with, like when they're like 26 when they got started.
No. I mean like when you started your job or you started working. I mean the people at your age... They were not greens like you.
No.
The people would have seen you and they're like, oh, but you have been a pastor for like 10 years already, haven't
like,
you? So
no. 5 minutes. Yeah. So that was like, so there's a lot of different things. You're going to change career. And one of the things is like, you have to sort of put yourself back into that mindset when you were like in your early 20s. Like, I'm invincible. I can do whatever. Because now it's like, I don't know. I think, remember like a couple of years ago, you're like, but Ed, you can get a job in my company. I was like, I don't know if I could just make that change like that. It would be so difficult. I can't do it. Because as you get older, you start thinking like, you spend more money, so you're in more debt, and you're like, ooh, no, I don't want to be poor again.
Well, I'm about to just put on a degree on my existing degree. And I'm going back to school for that. So I'm not really changing gears like that. I'm just upgrading. But still going to school now it feels like I thought I was done. like I closed that chapter in my life. Like going to university, I'm like, I'm done. Whatever. I don't have to do this anymore. Now, boop. Welcome back. And my teacher said today, she's like, oh, I remember. I'm like, yeah, back in the days, I was in this committee. And she's like, oh, yeah, I remember. I'm like, whoa.
Wow, that's really depressing.
Well, look at me. Look at how I am. How could people not remember me?
That's true. I have nightmares about you every week. I wake up in sweats. Lynn! And that's like, why is this Lynn person you keep screaming about? And I'm like, she's scary.
Well, I think it's I have less patience, but I think the good thing is, just as you said, that you're more grounded somehow. You know, like what's the deal, what's worth to worry about and what not.
True.
Cut out the drama.
Hopefully, you'll like you won't be as distracted maybe when you're studying.
Well, I have 2 small kids. One is 6 months almost, and one is 4 years.
How easy.
Yes, it is big time distraction.
Yeah, but don't you think it's harder though now that you have to still go back and study just as much, but now you have these kids?
Yeah. So I told my mom the other day, I'm like, before maybe if I had 3 hours, I just had 3 hours, like I could study and do whatever. Now if I have, say, 3 hours, like I maybe at most I can study for 45 minutes, uninterrupted, or 1 hour. Then the kid wants, wipe my butt, change my diaper, I'm hungry. Okay, 30 minutes go there.
Yeah.
And then
It
again,
takes you 30
studying
minutes
for like...
to wipe their butt? Wow.
No, but then wipe their butt. Mom, I have to clean my... And then she doesn't want to wash her hands. Couldn't do that. And then she's hungry again. Then she wants to have a movie. Oh, there's a lot of things going on. And then the Thai is screaming, and he puked, and then he's tired, and he wants to have breast milk, and then like, and until I'm sitting down again, like being in the mind of, okay, let's study this molecule. How can you make it into a good drug? And then maybe some kid is screaming again, or something is going on. You're like, oh...
That just gave me a picture in my head.
So it's not really effective.
Here you are as a mom thinking about, how can I make this into a good drug?
Yeah, that's what we have now. Drug chemistry.
Wow.
It's kind of hard when the basics were like 5 years ago and you try to remember. What was that again?
Really?
Yeah.
I was really hoping that you can make me some good stuff.
Well, I'm learning to be a läkemedelsdesigner.
Really? So they have
drug
Christian Duara of the drug world. He comes in. He's like, this is the year 2021, and we've just got to get rid of all that old stuff. I mean, none of those amphetamines. I mean, I've just designed something that's really beautiful. Just look at it, so unique. And
it's not about beautiful. I tell you, it's not about unique. Well, it could be about unique because then you can monetize it, but. It's more about like having a good effect, like minimizing the side effects, having good stability,
making
having
sure
good
the hemline's good,
kinetics, all of this stuff. And for that, you have to remember your basics in chemistry. And I'm like, oh, that was a long time ago.
So if I ask you a question, what is H2O? Would that stump you?
No, but I remember that you use it for hydrolyse. So I'm like, and if you have a medication, if you have a drug that has a ester group inside and you have some water, it will crack, and that's bad.
Because crack is always bad.
Oh my gosh. So bad.
No one would ever think I ever studied chemistry talking
leave the daddy jokes at home. Do you remember anything from chemistry?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Except for the H2O.
I remember not to play with ethanol around fire.
Wow. Well, that's a good advice for people. Yeah. Well, I was actually, back to our topic, I always felt like I wanted to be a teacher. So I might do that in the future. Maybe when I'm 40, I'm like, let's do something else for a couple of years.
I'm going to stop hanging out with people who are so much younger than me. When I get to be 40. Like, that's some kind of a milestone in life.
Yes, it is. Because then my fertility is, my kids are probably like school age anyway, so what you going to do?
Have more kids. You'll be like one of those 45-year-old ladies pumping out triplets.
No, I don't want to be a forever mom.
You'll be like a mom drone.
Or a forever little kid's mom. Like I always want to be a mom because I always want to have my kids, but I don't want to like wipe butts when I'm 45.
Really?
Yeah.
I can see myself wiping a butt or two right now, 59, still wiping on the butt. Like,
well, you should be wiping butts on grandchildren, not on your own children.
It'll probably be my own. Annette, I pooped on myself again, honey. That's why I married someone who's 7 years younger than me, so you can wipe my butt.
Wow.
I'm glad she never listens to our podcast. She's like,
maybe when we start it, then she will hear this, man.
She's like, why do you always talk about me like that? It's not like that. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's funny.
So you're saying, what were your reasons for changing careers?
That was that thing. That's God sending that angel into my room. If God hadn't done that, so this is the truth. I know people don't believe that, but if God hadn't sent an angel into my room, I wouldn't have changed because I really liked my job. I liked working as a chef, and I had no intentions of changing. Really.
And you got good pay. Everything was secure. You were good at this. Yeah.
People say, "Oh, hey, chef." They were like walking on the street. Chef, oh, I really had your meal last night. It was like so divine. I was like, yes, I know. Gordon Ramsay had nothing on me. I was like the Christian Gordon Ramsay. I didn't swear, but I sure yelled at people. And I'm like, you're going to get fired.
Ooh.
I was like, that's why I had to go to church every Sunday. It's like, dear Jesus, help me. Save my soul. Because I think I just earned some hell points right now because I was really mean yesterday.
So you're saying that because of this life-changing divine encounter,
yes,
you chose to just flip the coin.
Well, I mean, I still had to accept it. So I still had to decide to walk away from my career. And it's still the same separational, anxiety of leaving something that you were secure in, that you like doing, that you
you're
thought was
good at.
Yeah. And leaving that and then to do something totally different that has nothing at all to do with what you were doing before. And that was really scary.
How did this experience enrich you? Would you say it has enriched you somehow?
Yeah, I mean, I used to always say that, always believe that, like, everything that happens in life, God somehow can turn that into something good in the future. So all the crap of life becomes fertilizer for something good in the future.
Yeah.
I know that was so
Preach
divine.
that.
Because right now, bring your crap right here to the altar. I'm going to take that crap and bury it down under the praising hands of God, and it will become future. Oh, sorry, it's that African American thing.
We were on the
Wrong channel.
channel.
Well, now that we have Kamala Harris in the White House, I just feel like I've got to be more African American now. Because
She's not that black.
yes, she is.
She's just a tan.
Okay. Well,
Anyway.
I'm not the same color as my mom, but anyway, I'm like, Mom, no kidding. But where was? Oh yeah, the change. Yeah, and so what happened was that when I first started studying to become a priest and started working, I was thinking I had this thought in my head: did I waste almost 20 years of my life? If this is what I'm supposed to be doing now, did I waste 20 years? And it made me I had to go through a period of accepting what I did was good then, and that it may have reference now. So when I started working with young people, it turned out that all my cooking skills, because I really like cooking food, so a lot of youth groups that I've had, we've always started with a dinner. So we'll eat together and we'll talk about, so how was your week? And that shared experience, that service-mindedness comes into play a lot. It has a different form now. So it's nothing was wasted or anything, or and doing something different. So working as a priest is nothing like working in the restaurant. In the restaurant,
You serve people.
yeah, I mean, you have to be a kind of a people person. So that there's some overlap there. But I felt like when I worked in the restaurant, when the food went out, first I knew that what I did was a good job because I trained really hard to do really good stuff. And then when people received that, they would always give me praise. So you got instant confirmation. I mean, imagine every day you go to work and you have a couple hundred people all screaming about, this was so great. Oh my gosh. And you come out to the table and people are clapping. I mean, every day you have...
You were like a superstar.
Every day you have affirmation about how wonderful you are. And then you start working as a priest. And you kind of miss that. You miss it.
So you mean priests are not superstars?
Wow. When I have my collar on here in Sweden, I'm on the bus, people are like, oh, don't sit next to him. He's religious. He's got the religious plague, I'm like, I don't bite. Yes, you do. You might. And so it's and so you never know, so here's an example. One of the young girls I used to work with, she was 12 when I first met her. Mm-hmm. And I was on the radio a couple of days ago. And who shows up to interview me? Who's the journalist?
That girl?
Her. Yeah.
Really?
And so she's like, oh my God, everyone, we still talk about you and what you've been for us. I'm like, and then all of a sudden it made me think nothing's wasted, God. There's still things happening. We talked and stuff, and it was so good to see her as an adult in her job thing, and just to think wow, maybe it's possible that short few years of her life that we've journeyed together may have been part
impact.
may have had a positive impact. So that's so that could be also something new happens in the new thing when you change your job. It doesn't always have to be negative. It could be the new thing, even though it's scary. It could be something that becomes just as big a blessing in your life as the old thing. And you'll find that out too when you get to be 40.
Well, I could do that earlier too, but
whatever.
I felt like having a secure income and taking care of my kids, and then I can get adventurous. Once they're like, okay, you can wipe your own butts. Great.
It'll never happen.
All of your 5 kids still need help.
They Dad, can you wipe my butt? Like, oh my gosh, how many times I have to do this? You're 30 now. Come on.
Wow. No, I would not want my mom to wipe my butt.
I don't want my mom to wipe my butt either. That would just be really embarrassing. Just I don't know. When I was a baby, I didn't care, but I don't really want you looking at me, lady.
So what would you, what advice, to sum all of this up, what advice would you give to people who either consider changing careers or are about made a decision or are about to transition?
Well, I mean, you have to sort of accept that it's going to be stages. There are going to be days, so as you're transitioning to the new thing, and there will be days when it's difficult, days where it feels like it's not worth it. And you'll look back at the old thing, and you'll like glorify it. You'll make it feel like, oh, it was so great, and you forget about how like all the rough days with that. So you want to have balance. And the other thing is that for every new thing that you do in your life, you're increasing the opportunity for your life to have meaning in so many different avenues and stuff. So it's actually really good for us, I think, as human beings to not just let your life, to get stuck, but to actually take the risk.
Evolve.
Yeah, because you can always go, well, not now, but now it's been like 30 years, but wow.
That sounded old.
I know. I'm like, oh, wow. I spent 20 years of my life, and that was 30 years ago. Wow.
Yeah.
But you can, but take the risk and do the new thing, because you can always often go back to the old thing. So you're not really losing anything, but in the new thing, accept the new phase, accept all the new challenges, and grow in that. If you embrace that transition could be really beneficial to your own personal development.
I was thinking that it was also extra relevant in today's time because a lot of people lost their jobs due to Corona and COVID-19 pandemic. It could be in different industries. If it's in travel industries like flying, tourism, hotel, all of these things, I mean, people have to resettle because they think that sector will not recover as fast and will not be able to employ people back maybe in the same way. So a lot of people have to change careers.
Yeah, you do. I mean, I worked in a bowling alley once as a manager in a bowling alley. And I did that for about a year and a half. And that's because we had fallen on some really hard times and stuff like that. I needed a job. And that job turned out to be really, like, it wasn't, like, I didn't think I was going to do this for my whole life. But during that time, it was really important. And there's a lot of really important lessons that I learned from that. You can't survive a lot of things that you think you can't. And for everyone, especially the people who've lost their jobs and maybe have to transition to other things, don't get hung up on the prestige. Don't get hung up on, but I used to, stay in the now, stay in the, in
what
the present moment.
Yeah.
Do the things you got to do now and try to, capitalize on those things. Sometimes those things will lead you to doors that never would have been opened if you hadn't been, sometimes forced to do something different and new. So,
and we never know if the situation has to be permanent or not.
No.
So, listening to your story, you had 1,000 jobs, and I mean, I started
980
babysitting, being a tutor. I also worked in a little shop where you sold mini donuts and cotton candy, and I know how to make cotton candy. That's
really
fun. Yeah.
Why do next time, when Corona's over and we start to do something like for small families and stuff, like on kosher night,
cotton candy.
Yeah, that would be so much fun.
Yeah,
we could see you in action with your technique.
Oh, I hate making cotton candy,
really?
But yeah, we can
I love
do that.
eating it. That's okay. Whatever you fail at, I will eat it.
And then I worked as a cashier in a little shop.
Really?
So I hate handling money. So that's also why I hate working at the pharmacy where I have to handle money. Because I'm so bad, and I always felt bad when
did you count wrong or something? Or?
Yeah, when the cashier did not, like, when the machine and what we actually had was not the same, and especially when it was too little, I was always like, oh my gosh, I hate this. Like, I really try, but I don't know why.
How did they teach you guys how to count money in Germany?
No, it's not. It's not about that. I mean, my parents are very good with money. And I'm like, no.
Okay. So.
And then when I came to Sweden, I started wiping butts. I worked in elderly care. So
okay.
Wiping butts, changing diapers, giving medicine. No. So I have my fair share of that. And then I finally got a better job working at the pharmacy and no butts inside.
Not yet.
Yeah. No, I don't want to.
But what if you have to, like, give suppositories, like the drugs through the butt?
Well, I'm not a nurse.
So you don't have to do that.
No. Except for my kids.
You're like, take this home, stick it in your butt.
Well, I hope you guys got cheered up by this last story. It can be beneficial to change gears, even when you're getting older and you feel like I'm too old for this. I think you have to also think about the financial aspects, because usually if you go into a new industry, you start lower.
Yep, you do. Yeah, that was hard. That was a hard one to get over.
So that is something you have to think about. But especially now in this Corona pandemic, you might not have a choice.
No.
So, well, let's leave it on the positive side. At least you have a job.
And everyone's listening was like, I was following you guys along, but now I'm just going to go out and I don't know, I'm just going to drink beer. I don't know. I'm just warm beer. I'm just going to sit here and just,
Thank you guys for listening. I hope you learned something from this episode.
Yes, because
got to know us a little bit better about all our weird work experiences.
I still want to see you make cotton candy. When we end this, I'm going to get some sugar in a hair dryer.
No, it's not made with hair dryer.
I don't know.
You have to have something that spins really fast. It's hot and spins really fast.
I'll take the hair dryer and I'll turn around really fast.
No, you have to something, and it's anyway.
Okay.
You guys don't have to listen to this. Listen into our next podcast, people.
Yes,
Send us in more topics.
Yes.
The email is following quite soon in our episode here, and really, guys, let us know. Please stay tuned during this Corona time period, because we need you and you need us. Yes.
Thanks for listening to us.
Bye. Thank you for listening. If you have any comments or ideas, please send us a message to fikaforlife@mail.com. Fika, F-I-K-A. This was the Fika for Life podcast with Lynn Nguyen and Edward Thomas, and we hope to hear you again.